Welcome to all. This is Dr. Vignesh Varmeka, Assistant Professor of Geography, Government Degree College for Women's, Autonomous, Hyderabad. And we are discussing the wind system, part 3. In this session, we will discuss the following points. As a part of previous session, we focused on the classification of winds. Under the classification of winds, we looked into planetary winds and periodic winds. In the present session, we will look into local winds, and as a part of it, we will learn about land and sea breezes, mountain and valley breezes, hot, cold local winds, cold local winds. Now, the tertiary winds are local winds. So far, we were discussing about the major winds of the Earth's surface, which are for understanding the climatic regions. But we are all aware that there are winds that affect local weather. Winds usually affect small areas and confine the lower levels of the troposphere. Some of the local winds are even below. They are land and sea breezes, mountain and valley breezes, hot local winds, and cold local winds. Firstly, we will look into land and sea breezes. Land and sea breezes are prevalent on the narrow strips along the coast or a lake. It is a diurnal cycle in which the differential heating of land and water bodies produces low and high pressure systems. During the day, the land heats up faster and becomes warmer than the sea. Therefore, over the land, the air rises, giving rise to a low pressure area, whereas the sea is relatively cool and the pressure over sea is relatively high. Thus, the pressure gradient from sea to land is created, and the wind blows from the sea to the land as the sea breeze. The figure on the screen at the top discloses you the sea breezes. During the night, the reversal of conditions takes place. The land loses heat faster and is cooler than the sea. The pressure gradient is from the land to sea, and hence land breeze rises. At night, the land and the air blow above. It cools more quickly than the nearby water body. As a result, land has high pressure while the sea has comparatively a low pressure. Gentle wind begins to blow from land towards sea. This is known as land breeze. The figure on the screen at the bottom discloses you about the land breeze or land winds. The second type of local wind is valley breeze and mountain breeze. Another circulation of local winds that undergoes a daily reversal consists of the mountain and valley breezes. In mountainous regions, during the day, the slopes get heated up more than the valley floors and air moves up slopes. The air from the valley blows up the valley to fill the resulting gap. This wind is known as the valley breeze. After sunset, the rapid radiation takes place on the mountain slopes. During the night, the slopes get cooled and the denser air descends into the valley as the mountain wind. The cool air of the high plateaus and ice fields draining into the valley is called katabatic wind or high density air flowing down the slopes. The mountain valley breezes are also known as katabatic and anabatic winds respectively. The third type of local wind is hot local winds. Local differences of temperature and pressure produces these hot and these hot local winds. Hot local winds are produced generally by the mechanism of downslope compressional heating, also known as adiabatic heating. Such winds are local in extent and are confined to the lowest levels of the troposphere. Some examples of local winds are Lu, Chinook, Harmattan, Fohen, Sirocco, Nor'wester, Brickfielder, Khamsin, Santa Ana, Lu, etc. Now, we will focus on few of the important hot local winds. Lu winds. Lu wind originate from the Thar Desert and as northwesterly to a westerly direction. In the plains of North India and Pakistan, sometimes a very hot and dry wind blows from the west in May and June months, usually in the afternoons. It is known as Lu winds. They dominate during early summer in the months of March to May and create heat waves like conditions in North India and adjoining parts. Its temperature invariably ranges between 45 and 50 degrees Celsius. It may cause sunstroke to people. They have desiccating effects and are considered as environmental impacts or environmental disasters. The next hot local wind is Fohen. Fohen is dry and warm wind resulting due to adiabatic heating on the leeward side of the mountain range. Fohen is a hot wind of local importance in the Alps. The low relative humidity and high temperatures are due to the adiabatic heating of downslope winds. The Fohen winds are present throughout the winter, and due to the presence of such winds, the temperature increases and valleys of Switzerland are called climatic oases during the winter season. It is a strong, gusty, dry, and warm wind which develops on the leeward side of a mountain range. As the windward side takes away whatever moisture there is in the incoming wind in the form of orographic precipitation, the air that descends on the leeward side is dry and warm, that is katabatic wind. The temperature of the wind varies between 15 degrees Celsius and 20 degrees Celsius. The forehand wind helps animal grazing by melting snow and aids the ripening of grapes in the region. Next, the Chinook are local winds. They are very warm and dry winds blowing on the eastern slopes of the Rocky Mountains. Chinook are forehand-like winds in USA, Canada, and move down the west slopes of the Rocky Mountains. They are the result of adiabatic heating, which occurs due to the downslope compression on the leeward side as the mountain barrier creates frictional drag, which tends to pull the air from the higher level down on the leeward, and air forced down is heated adiabatically, and at the same time its relative humidity is also lower. Temperature in Chinook is so warm that it can remove the underlying snow cover ice, and sometimes these winds are so dry that in spite of their blowing below freezing temperatures, the entire snow cover on the ground disappears by the process of sublimation. Thus, these winds are also known as Chinook, which literally means the snow eater. It is beneficial to the ranchers east of the Rocky Mountains as it keeps the grasslands clear of snow during the much of the winter season. Next, Santa Ana, the local warm winds. Santa Ana is a dry and warm local wind that occurs in Santa Ana Valley of Southern California, and it is also almost similar to the Chinook or forehand with regard to the thermal and moisture characteristics. Unlike Chinook or forehand, Santa Ana blows as air channel through east-west stretching Santa Ana Valley, and due to the descending over the western slopes of Rockies, they become even more hot and dry. Santa Ana winds are so dry and warm that they pose a great danger to the Californian orchards and are considered as climatic hazard since they desiccate the soil and vegetation moisture and may even result in widespread forest fires. Harmattan. These hot and dry winds originate from the Sahara Desert and blow towards the Guinea coast of Africa. Due to their journey over the Sahara Desert, these winds become extremely dry, and as they pass over the Sahara Desert, they pick up more sand, especially red sand, and turn dust. As these winds arrive on the western coasts of Africa, the weather, which is warm and moist before its arrival, turns into pleasant dry weather with low relative humidity, thus bringing great relief to the people from the breathing problems. Due to this reason, they are also known as the doctor winds in the Guinea coast area of the Western Africa. The figure on the screen discloses you Harmattan local winds. Sirocco. Sirocco is a Mediterranean wind that comes from the Sahara and reaches hurricane speeds in the North Africa and South Europe. Sirocco is the warm, dry, dusty local wind that blows from the Sahara Desert over the central Mediterranean Sea southern Italy and may even reach Spain, etc. As the Sirocco descend through the northern slopes of the Atlas Mountains, they become extremely warm and dry. These winds carry red and sand particles from Sahara, due to which they cause red color rainfall in southern Europe, and this rainfall is known as the blood rain. The Sirocco is so much laden with sands and dust that the atmospheric visibility reduces almost to zero, and they are much injurious to agriculture and food crops. Sirocco causes dry, dusty, dry conditions along the northern coast of Africa, storms in the Mediterranean Sea, and cool, wet weather in Europe. The Sirocco winds are named in different parts of the Sahara region, and they are known as Livich in Spain, Leste in Morocco, Kamsin in Egypt, Armatan in western coast of Africa, Guinea, Brickfielders in Australia, Saimum in Persia and Arabian Desert, Shamal in Mesopotamia, the Persian Gulf, and Nor'westers in the New Zealand. And these are the similar to the Sirocco winds. Kamsin. These are warm, dry, dusty local winds that blow in Northern Africa, that is Egypt and Arabia. The temperature of these winds varies from 380 degrees centigrade, 38 degrees and 49 degrees. And this is even more vigorous during late winter and early spring. These dust storms occur on the forward sides of the temperature cyclones whenever any such cyclone passes through the Mediterranean region. The figure on the screen discloses you the location of the Kamsin winds. Saimum. Saimum is the intensely hot and dry dusty wind in the Arabian Desert, and they come into origin due to the warm tropical continental air masses. These winds produce very unpleasant weather. The next is dust devils. Dust devils are the whirlwind formed over the hot, dry land due to the intense daytime convection and surface friction. The dust devils are funnel shaped and thus resemble a tornado in appearance, and sometimes it is so powerful that it can uplift the loosely fixed roofs of the houses and small lighter vehicles. Now, we will look into the cold local winds. Cold local winds are dust-laden winds, and as they have a temperature below freezing point, they create cold wave condition. The examples of cold local winds include Mistral, Bora, Narthas, blizzards, purga, lavender, pamparod, vice, etc. We will have a look on the following important cold local winds, which are the Mistral, Bora, Blizzard, Lavender, Pampero, and Buran. The figure on the screen discloses you few of the cold local winds. Mistral, it is a cold and dry wind that blows in Spain and France from northwest to the southeast direction, mostly occur during the winter months. Mistral is one of the local names given to such winds that blow from the Alps over France towards the Mediterranean Sea. Due to the presence of a Rhone River, these winds are channelized into the Rhone Valley, due to which they become extremely cold and dry with a high speed. Mistral brings blizzards into southern France. As they pass through the narrow Rhone Valley, they turn into the stormy northerly cold winds, and their average velocity ranges between 55 and 65 kilometers per hour and may even reach 128 kilometers per hour sometimes. Such stormy cold northerly winds cause a sudden drop in temperature to below freezing point. Bora. These are cold and dry northeasterly winds that blow from the mountains towards the eastern shore of the Adriatic Sea. Bora is more effective in North Italy since here it descends the southern slopes of the Alps mountains. Although due to the descent it gets adiabatically heated, still its temperature is very low in comparison to the coastal area, and these are the typical examples of fall winds. Bora is often associated with the passage of a temperature cyclone, and at times the Bora winds themselves attain the hurricane force at the foot of the mountain and may cause disastrous impacts on the properties. The location of the Bora is disclosed on the figure that appears you on the screen. Blizzards. Blizzard is a cold, violent, powdery polar winds that pick dry snow from the ground. They are prevalent in the North and South polar regions, Canada, USA, Siberia. Due to the absence of any east-west mountain barrier, these winds reach the southern states of United States of America. Due to the snow and ice particles, the atmospheric visibility reduces almost to zero and the temperature reduced to sub-freezing levels. Such blizzards are of common occurrences in the Antarctic, and here the wind velocity may even reach up to 160 kilometers per hour. Lavender. And these are strong easterly moist and damp cold winds in the southern Spain and Strait of Gibraltar. These winds are more frequent in early winter to late winter and cause foggy weather. Next cold local wind is Pampero. It is a northwesterly cold wind in the pampas of South America continent, and it is similar to the northwards of North America and Siberia. Pampero is more active during winters and of the coast of Argentina, and it blows from July to September. Buran, it is an extremely cold northeasterly or easterly wind that blows in central Siberia and eastern Russia. The figure on the screen discloses you about the location of Pampero cold local winds and Buran cold local winds. So far, we have dealt with the introduction to wind system, measurement of wind movement, factors affecting wind movement, classification of winds, and the planetary winds, periodic winds, and local winds.